What's up, Greg? It's your boy Danny, back with another really interesting episode of how to watch a YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through a step-by-step guide at how to sit very still and look at a screen playing a YouTube video for its entire duration. Speaking of things that everybody should know how to do, have you guys ever been on WikiHow? I think I've been on a few times to look up things like how to tie a tie or, how to change your spare tire or something like that. It seems like this website has an article on pretty much everything you'd ever need to know. They've got, step-by-step instructions and illustrations so that you can really get the point. But while they do have articles on everything you would ever need to know, I've also recently discovered that they have articles on everything that you would never need to know. Whether it's because you already know how to do these things, or because it's just something that nobody needs to know how to do anyway. Over the past couple days, I've been scouring WikiHow because I keep finding the most ridiculous articles, and it's like, who is reading these? And who is writing these? Also, guys, we've got a sponsor on today's video, Squarespace. If you're looking to design a professional-looking website, go to squarespace.com/Danny to get 10% off your first purchase. To me, it seems like a lot of WikiHow articles are written by aliens or robots to try to teach other aliens or robots how to act like humans so they can blend in. Like this one called How to Smile. I would say that that's definitely one of the first things that anybody learns ever. I just want to know who is reading this article, because I haven't met anybody ever who didn't know how to smile. So who's Googling this? Like, it's the only option is robots, right? This article has 3 million views. Where are they coming from? The beginning of the article sort of makes sense. It's like very basic stuff. Practice smiling regularly. Smile with your eyes. So it's sort of tips on like how to smile better, like how to have a nice pleasing smile. But then part 2 is where it gets weird. Part 2, smiling for the right reasons. Step 1, make your smile genuine. While it's possible to crack a smile when you're in a bad mood. Yeah, I guess it's possible, but like, would you ever? If you're in a bad mood, you should never accidentally smile, right? While it's possible to crack a smile when you're in a bad mood, smiling under these circumstances can sometimes make people wary of you because they can tell your smile isn't authentic. Yeah. But why would you ever? Offer a genuine smile to others whenever possible. Whenever possible. Like, don't strain yourself. Step 2, smile when you feel good. A genuine smile comes from being happy and positive. Be happy that things are going well for the person you're talking to, that someone's joke is funny, or that you're about to eat your favorite food. These are just some examples of situations in which you would smile that everybody on the planet knows except for robots. Why have 3 million people viewed this article? And how many of those 3 million people read this article and learned anything? I have not learned a thing because all of this is like basic human knowledge that everybody knows. Every WikiHow article has what's called a community Q&A section at the bottom where people can ask questions and other people who are more experienced in the topic can answer. Some articles have no questions and some have a lot. I guess it's based on how confusing the article was or how hard it is to grasp the concept. So How to Smile definitely seems like one of the articles that should have no questions, right? But it actually has hundreds. How should I smile while talking to someone sitting beside me? I'm really confused by this one because does this person think that you smile differently depending on what angle the person is that you're smiling to? Like if you're smiling to someone over there, like you only smile like that way to that person. And if they're like moving as you smile at them, you sort of like. The answer sort of clears things up. They said, it depends. If you're carrying a conversation, you can have a small smile on your face. It would be slightly awkward if, while having a conversation, you are looking at them with a full-out smile. So that seems like pretty common knowledge, right? Like if you're talking to somebody, you wouldn't just sit there like. But 52 people marked this answer as helpful. Like they didn't know that before. Like they were reading this and they were like, oh, fuck. A lot of people probably think I'm real weird. How did I not know this? What should I do when I'm angry and I don't feel like smiling? You don't have to smile if you don't want to. Work through your feelings of anger and then smile when you're ready to. Didn't you even read the smiling for the right reasons section? It specifically says in there, smile when you're happy. Definitely don't smile when you're angry. That's not gonna make people like you. That's gonna make people think that you're gonna hurt someone. They have articles like that for grown adults who are trying to learn how to smile for the first time. They also have great articles for kids, like this one, How to Have a Build-A-Bear School. If you want smarter Build-A-Bears, try making them a school and running it for them. This is something you can do for an afternoon or for a long time, depending on how much you enjoy it. That's like how any hobby works. You can do it for however long you enjoy it. You're never obligated to continue doing a hobby that you're just doing by yourself. Just as a general rule of thumb. So this is sort of like how to play school. A lot of people play like school or house when they're kids. I used to do that when I was little too, but I would just sort of like make up the rules as I went along. I would play with friends or just by myself with stuffed animals. But this is for little kids who want to start their Build-A-Bear school by the books. Teaching Build-A-Bears is serious business, okay? This article is for people who want their Build-A-Bears to get into good colleges, get good jobs, and make a lot of money. They're not fucking around. So it's got a whole section on setting up. You want to clear out an area in your room or closet. You want to get the necessary school supplies. You want to make desks. You have to attach name tags to each of their desks. That way you don't have moments where you're like, where did this bear sit? Plan the bear's lessons and school subjects. Plan out everything you do in primary school, high school, or nursery. So this is where I think it starts to get like a little bit overwhelming and starts to suck the fun out of playing school. Oh, you thought you could just start teaching your Build-A-Bears anything? No! Teaching requires planning. You need a syllabus. You need a curriculum. And it better comply with your state of residence's curriculum and teaching codes. Like the next step is gonna be apply for your teaching license. You're gonna need to go to school for a few years and take the exam to get a teaching license in your state. But once you do that, you'll be ready to teach your bears. Okay, now we finally get on to running the school. Step 1. Host an assembly to begin with. Tell your bears everything they should know about the school and what they'll be learning. Welcome, students, to this Build-A-Bear school for gifted bears such as yourselves. I have planned extensively over these past few months for the coming semester. You will be studying foreign affairs, thermodynamics, and medieval Latin. I expect that you put as much work into learning as I did planning this semester. Now, I have assigned you all seats with name tags. Please take a seat. Get the bears ready for their first lesson. Teach them the basics first. Mathematics, English, science and geography, and handwriting. Feel free to include other classes like art and PE. Yeah, gotta get those bears nice and fit. Don't want any weak-ass bears in my school. My bears are gonna be ripped. Don't be strict. If the bears are naughty, stand them in the corner or something so that they learn from their mistakes when they do get punished. Remember to reward them too. Be a nice teacher. Don't slap them with a ruler or anything like that. What? I wasn't going to. You don't need to tell me that. I'm not gonna beat my students. Who do you think I am? Set some homework. When you've been running your school for quite some time and your pupils are more capable of learning, give them reading books and homework. You can even have them sit exams and award them certificates that you've made. Keep on planning when you can. Okay, this is getting to be a really big commitment. I could imagine being a kid reading this and just like, I just started this as something fun to do in my free time. Like they just started this one day because all of their friends were busy or something and so they wanted something to do and so they started playing imaginary school with their Build-A-Bears. But now like a few months have gone by and all their friends are calling this kid and he's just like, I'm sorry you guys, I really don't have time right now. I have to grade homework and prepare these exams and finals are coming up and then after that I've got to plan the next semester. I really don't have time to hang out right now. My bears need me. Earlier I mentioned that there are articles on WikiHow that I believe don't need to exist because I don't think that anyone should ever need to know how to do these things. I believe that this article, How to Freak People Out, falls into this category. This one is some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Do you feel bored, hyper, and mischievous all the time? Possibly simultaneously. Don't just sit there. Use your energy to freak your friends out. Yeah, don't just sit there, dude. Get out there and freak the shit out of somebody. What are you doing? It's the perfect cure for boredom. All you need to get started is a creative mind, a little bravery, and a hint of insanity. I think maybe a little bit more than a hint of insanity. Use common sense with these tricks. Don't do anything that will get you in trouble. It said all you need to get started is a creative mind. I think if you're reading an article on how to freak people out, the creative mind ship has already sailed. Like, if you can't think of a single way to freak somebody out without reading an entire article on WikiHow about how to do it, I don't think that you have a creative mind. I think it's pretty safe to say. Method number 1, speaking oddly. One surefire way to freak people out is casually saying things in public that are bizarre or troubling to the average person. You can experiment with speaking directly to people or purposely allowing them to overhear personal conversations. Again, I'm really confused about who this article is for. This article has 300,000 views. That means 300,000 people went out of their way to look at an article called How to Freak People Out. They really thought that they would learn something of value from this article. Be loud. Wow, that's great advice. If you want to freak people out, just be loud. Why didn't I think of that? Making loud emotional outbursts is a sure way to shock, frighten, and otherwise freak out people around you. Okay, yeah, annoying the shit out of people is definitely a good way to freak people out. One of the weird things about this article is that it's sort of written like, if you do these things, everybody is going to think that you're crazy. You'll really get them and you'll really trick them into thinking that you're crazy. When in reality, if you read this article on how to freak people out and then you followed these instructions, you actually are crazy. So they're right to think that. Make reasonable decisions about when to be loud, though. Don't shout anywhere that you're likely to get yourself into trouble or cause a serious incident, like in a movie theater, in a room where a test is taking, or around police. Yeah, you definitely don't want to just walk up to cops and start screaming because they'll think you're crazy. Which you are. Dancing like there's no tomorrow. Dance like a fool. A high energy approach can go a long way when it comes to freaking people out. Ridiculous dancing is a great way to employ your physical comedy skills. Look at these people watching. There's a crowd of people watching. Like, this dude has been dancing for hours. Long enough for this crowd to form. Look at their facial expressions. Be disturbing. When all else fails, acting in ways that are creepy or downright startling will freak people out for sure. What do you mean when all else fails? None of the stuff above will fail. It's guaranteed to freak people out. I don't like the way this is worded, especially in conjunction with the picture they use for this one. It sounds like it's like your last resort, like, nothing's worked yet. I can't freak people out, but I've got nothing to lose now. I'm just gonna go out and be disturbing. Use common sense here. Don't do anything that will get you arrested. Okay, I don't know what the fuck is going on in this picture, but there is no way that whatever this is isn't going to get you arrested. It's definitely not gonna end with like you both laughing and going about the rest of your day. This dude's got like fangs and blood dripping from his mouth. It looks like he just popped out of a bush so he could chase a woman in the park. Ooh, that's kind of a harmless prank. Making a woman think she's about to get kidnapped or murdered. Okay, here's another article for something that you should probably know how to do without reading an article. It's how to pretend to be asleep. This should probably be about the easiest thing in the world to do. You just lay still with your eyes closed and breathe. It's not even really learning how to do something so much as learning how to not do anything else. Because you're literally doing like as little as possible. Here's the description for this article. Maybe it's your turn to get up with your newborn. Maybe your mom doesn't pester you when she thinks you're catching some Z's. Maybe your roommate always wants to talk to you when she comes in late. Whatever the reason, we all pretend to be asleep every once in a while. But there are more nuances to pretend sleeping than lying still and fake snoring. Okay, just one thing. This is like a really wide range of applications that go from a harmless like, oh, I don't want my mom to talk to me because I just am a teenager and I don't want to have any responsibilities today, to like, I'm in this marriage, right, that's based on lies, you see, and I have this kid that I don't give a shit about, and I'd really like to catch some extra Z's while my wife goes and takes care of it. Also, pretending to be asleep only works as long as the person that you're pretending to isn't willing to try waking you up, which I feel like in that case, the case of the newborn, the wife would be willing to wake up her husband and say, hey, it's your turn to wake up the baby. Otherwise, you're just gonna like lay there and still pretend to be asleep while your wife is like shaking you and saying, hey, get up! Because that's not pretending to be asleep. That's pretending to be dead. So this article covers all the basics: breathing slowly and deeply, breathing at regular intervals, which shouldn't be a problem or even a question. Then it says alter your breathing slightly if you're pretending to sleep for a while. How long are you pretending to be asleep for, dude? You've got to raise that kid eventually. You can't just sleep through its entire childhood. Yeah, I love my dad. Hey, how come you never talk about your dad? What's he like? I never met my dad. Oh. He walked out on you guys when you were little, or what? No, that's the thing. He lives in our house. It's just, he's been asleep for like 18 years. We've tried waking him up. He won't. Some of the comments on this are really good too. What if someone is in the room, then closes the door to make it look like they left, but they did not leave, and you open your eyes, and they see that you're awake? How is that even a question? Like, you got caught. You got caught not being asleep. So what, like, there's nothing to do from there. You just have to be awake now. And why do I feel like the person who's typing this is like in this situation right now? He just woke up and made eye contact with his friend and like sneakily took out his phone and typed this question for an answer while he's like locked eyes with his friend. This article I think actually has a decent amount of value for young people. It's something that I feel like a lot of people would look up. It's how to be a pop star. It's got great advice like be wholesome and have sex appeal, which is really a killer combination. But it's actually pretty impressive how in-depth this article goes. It goes from like having a strong voice and having an appealing look into, you know, like networking and applying for talent contests and keeping your social media presence up. But then after all of those steps, it sort of like assumes that those steps worked and that now you're a famous pop star, and it tells you what to do once you become a famous pop star. So it has this whole living the lifestyle section where it has things like know who your real friends are and prepare to work long hours, ignore the tabloids. It's like, is this written by a real famous pop star? Because otherwise, where are they getting this advice from if they haven't lived the experience of a famous pop star? And this article has some pretty good questions as well. What if the fans want to be your boyfriend or girlfriend? Dude, did you seriously just read this entire article about like how much work it takes, how you have to constantly be working and improving your voice and your sound, you have to network, and you were just like, oh yeah, all that shit's easy, I don't have any questions about that, but once I become a pop star, like what if they want to date me? I promise you that is not the hardest thing about becoming a pop star. How do I get started? Did you not even read the article? It's a whole article about how to get started. I mean, for starters, be wholesome and sexy. That should get you pretty far. Honestly, I feel like I could make several videos about all these weird-ass WikiHow articles. This is only like a fraction of the ones I found, and I'm sure that there's a lot more strange ones out there, but I'm gonna stop there for now. If you guys would like another video about these, let me know. But that brings me to some really great news. I've always told you guys that Greg is a family. Greg is my fan base here on YouTube. We're the fastest growing army on YouTube, but I've always told you guys not to look that up. But today I'm very excited to announce that you can look that up, as long as you use the fastest growing army on YouTube.com. The fastest growing army on YouTube.com is actually a website that was designed by one of us Gregs. His name is Stefan Worth, and he tweeted it at me, and he used Squarespace to make this website. So thank you, Stefan, for making this website. Now we can finally look up who is the fastest growing army on YouTube. You can go right to this website and it will tell you. As I've said many times before, Squarespace is the best place to go if you're looking to design a professional looking website. They've got beautiful designer templates that make your website look professional like instantly. It requires very little work to get your website to look good. The designer templates are so good that it honestly is difficult to make your website not look good. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform, so you can do things like getting the domain the fastest growing army on YouTube.com. Then you can design the fastest growing army on YouTube.com. And if you wanted to like sell something on the fastest growing army on YouTube.com, you could set up an online store all within Squarespace. They've got award-winning 24/7 customer service, so if you have any problems, you can contact them and they will resolve it right away. So if you would like to help out Greg by making a website for Greg, or if you just want to design your own website, go to squarespace.com/Danny and you can get 10% off your first purchase. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to join Greg, all you have to do is subscribe and turn on my notifications. Thank you, Tiffany B, for turning on my notifications. You are truly Greg. I'll see you guys next time with a really interesting video where I spook you so hard that you die. Bye!